is JoAnne Duncan. I teach first grade here in the Ellensburg School District. I teach at Mount Stewart Elementary. And today I'm going to share a little bit about an animal unit that we do in first grade. Before I get started with the unit, though, I want to share just a little bit about how my classroom works. I have this picture of fly fishing because I recently read in Debbie Miller's updated version of Reading for Meaning that she compared the teaching model of the gradual release as the same as fly fishing, which I was a fly fishing guide for 8 years in Alaska. So when I saw that, I can really relate to that. And so when you think about it, and for those of you that don't know, in my classroom I use Daily 5 and Cafe. I know quite a few of you are familiar with that. If you're not familiar with it, could you raise your hand? Anybody? Okay. So Daily 5 is a framework, and I've been using it for about 8 years, and it's the sisters, Gail Boucher and Joan Moser. They've taken what research says is what the best teaching model looks like. So for the last 7 to 8 years, I've been trying to refine that practice in my classroom. And it's all about the gradual release of responsibility model. So teaching kids to be independent, short mini lessons, lots of scaffolding, kids go out, they practice. And in Debbie Miller's book, what she referred to was, we have kids at the mini lesson, we have the fish on the shore, we've caught it, we're doing our mini lesson, we need to get them back in the water before they start flopping around and die. Which, working with 6 and 7-year-olds, brain research says you have about 6 to 7 minutes of focus. So then the idea is you release them back out into the stream of learning because it's about their learning. I don't need to be learning. They're out learning. I'm working with kids one-on-one, small groups, observing what's happening. And then you can see when they need to be caught again, bring them back in for another mini lesson, and before they start flopping around and die, you get them back out into the stream of learning. And when I first started teaching, there was a lot of flopping around and dying, and I think, why aren't they paying attention? Well, it's because it was going on and on for too long. So that's the why I picked fly fishing picture of her. You guys, good job with the Prezi. I tried and spent about 2 hours, and I'm like, okay, I'm just doing a tiny PowerPoint. So in first grade, we do an animal unit, and in our unit, it's a very integrated unit. We have all the reading, writing, speaking, and listening. These are the Common Core standards for first grade. Really looking at being able to ask and answer questions about key details in a text. You can see on the reading, and then the writing piece, we're working on that informative or explanatory writing. Speaking and listening, we're doing a lot of talking and singing and modeling. I'll show you a little bit about the unit now. I'm going to switch to we'll just briefly look at this because there is a lot. So you can see in first grade, we really integrate as much as we can. The big overarching theme is just, this is just for mammals, but during this unit, we spend about 5 weeks. So we're studying mammals, and we're studying reptiles, amphibians, fish, and birds. And we kind of just follow that same process throughout the week as we learn about the different characteristics and the kind of animals that are mammals or reptiles. The big idea is finding characteristics, talking about basic needs, looking at habitats, and then just finding the common and the things that are alike and different. We don't do all of these things because it would take the whole year, but I just wanted to give you kind of an overview of all the ways we can integrate into reading and writing. We even try to integrate using our math and social studies, so we'll do graphing with different kinds of mammals or reptiles, addition and subtraction problems. We just, like I said, integrate as much as we can. One of the things we really like to do is get our information using songs, poems and chants. So throughout the year, we always make different books for whatever it is we're studying, a poem and a songbook. So we've got our table of contents. Mammals, found an animal, is it a reptile, fish, amphibians, it keeps going. And you know what's probably going to come next? Is we all get to sing. so throughout our singing, and the thing I want you to try to picture is, so that catch and release, that model, is a lot of times in between, during transitions, we have charts and posters. I didn't bring all those in, but these are all over the walls. And so when kids come back from their time out in the learning stream back to where the cafe is, a lot of times this is just a quick get everybody settled in. We're practicing these things. So we'll just do a couple lines. It's some of the characteristics of mammals. Goes to Farmer in the Dell. So are you guys ready? So, and this is what I tell my kids, my voice isn't good, so I really want to hear your voice. So here we go. Mammals are born alive.
Mammals are born alive. Hey ho, away we go. Mammals are born alive. Mammals have hair or fur. Mammals have hair or fur. Hey ho, away we go. Mammals have hair or fur. Mammals drink milk from their moms. Mammals drink milk from their moms. Hey ho, away we go. Mammals drink milk from their moms.
And we can keep, this song keeps going, but we will stop because they breathe air with their lungs, they're warm-blooded, and people are mammals too. There are some other really fun ones, but I think you get the idea. So I'm doing that rapid release for you guys. But this is just a powerful way, working with those kids, learning the information through songs and chants, and they really love it. So I wanted to show you that. So during this unit, we're getting information from the songbooks. During focus lessons, I would be reading different stories, and what the kids have, they've got a thinking notebook that they bring up with them. And so in this unit, when we're looking at information, we would also be teaching about some of the text features. They could be jotting down notes as I read. So what I'm going to do is read just a little bit and show you how I would do this with my first graders. And what we are going to work on is, now, I couldn't find mine in the classroom. This is what I was talking about, we have no white paper at Mount Stewart, so
You'll remember.
We only had pink, but I found this on Pinterest in the fall, this framework, and I just thought, oh, that is so awesome, so I was using it all year. And then yesterday, when, I can't remember her name, with the tree maps, I'm like, oh, that's a tree map. That is so cool. And I went back to my classroom, and of course I couldn't find my master copy, and Teresa's out of town. So this is the one she used yesterday, and I just filled in the blanks. But so from this information, this is going to be our evidence from the text, and that's what I talk to my kids about. This, we're not going to just make things up. We have to read. We're going to get the information, and then we're going to write about it. So our topic will be mammals, and we're going to put some information in. What can mammals do? What do mammals have? Mammals are. So as I read, like I said, I'm just going to do this as like I would do in my class. Meet the mammals. Check out this marvelous monkey. Did you know that he is a mammal? There are more than 5,000 types of mammals. Some live in the ocean, some live on mountaintops or underground. A few even fly. So what is this monkey?
Mammal.
He's a mammal. I want you to think about if you heard something interesting and turn and tell a friend. Okay. All right, 3, 2, 1, talking is done.
Could you put it under the dot camera just so we can all see you because you're so far away? That would be so helpful. Thanks.
And so we will have already talked about these different text features, so I'm not going to go into that. This is just getting this information that we'll put on our tree map. See, you guys, is this?
You're fine. to be able to see
demonstrate.
the text.
Okay, mammals are the only animals that have hair. What do they have?
Hair.
Hair. And produce milk. Mother mammals use the milk, use the milk to nurse their babies. Mammals are warm-blooded. What are they?
Warm-blooded.
That means their body temperature stays the same whether it is hot or cold outside. And I would go into more of, let's stop and make sure we understand, what does that mean? I better go back and reread that again, because they understand that's one of our comprehension strategies. Reread, make sure you understand what the text is saying. Different mammals have different diets. Giraffes, elephants, and deer eat only plants. I'm going to reread that again. Different mammals have different diets. Giraffes, elephants, and deer eat only plants. Tigers, lions, and wolves eat only meat. So then I'd have them turn and talk again, and we talk a little bit more about that. And then these are vocabulary words that we would have up, so they would learn herbivore, carnivore, omnivore. Bears eat plants. Bears also eat meat. Some mammals eat both plants and meat. Bears munch on leaves, berries, insects, fish, and small animals. So do bears only eat plants?
No.
Do they only eat meat?
No.
Oh, they eat both things. They're an omnivore. Everybody say that.
Omnivore.
And a carnivore eats meat. What does a carnivore do?
Eats meat.
And an herbivore eats plants. What does an herbivore eat?
Plants.
Okay, so you can see I would just keep going through the text like that. We will have also already been talking about mammals. We've got our other posters. We do watch some videos. I don't have any of those, but so the next step I would do is say, boys and girls, I'm going to show you how to take that information that we got from the text, and we're going to put it into this chart. This map. That's just too bright to see, so I'm just going to do it on here. So I would.
It was fine.
Was it?
Yeah, you were fine.
I'll just do this.
Do you want me to zoom out?
Oh, you guys were. See, I am not a technology person. And the poem I teach my kids, mistakes are good, they help us grow. They show us what we want to know. So if you make a mistake, try. You'll get better if you try. So bear with me, I'm trying my best. So our topic is mammals. So if our topic is about mammals, I'm not going to say, snakes are cool, snakes like to slither around, because is that the topic? No. And this is how I'm talking to kids, so I won't keep doing that to you guys, but, so that's our topic. So mammals can, push this right off. No, fix me if you need to. Mammals can, mammals have, and mammals are. So I want you to, I'm going to show you on this one. So I'm thinking about all the information that we have read and we've been learning about mammals. So mammals have fur. Mammals are warm-blooded. Who can think of one for can? Mammals can
Eat
okay.
meat, plants, or both? Is that too much?
Mammals can produce milk.
Okay.
Mammals can, what was yours?
Eat meat, plants, or both?
So first grade, we might just say they can eat meat, and then we can add that they can eat plants. You know, I'll just do it like that. They can eat plants.
I'm in challenge.
I guess so.
Higher level thinking.
Yes, you are. Okay. So then what we're going to do, I'm going to show you how I can write some sentences. So I can write some facts about mammals. We've put this, and did I make this up? Where did this come from?
In the book.
It came from our text, And I could go back and show you the pages it came from. And we really talk a lot about the evidence, even at first grade, and this isn't, we're not writing about mammals are cute, mammals are soft, so it has to be these facts. So I could start my sentence with, mammals, and while we're doing this, of course, modeling, boys and girls, a sentence starts with an uppercase letter. I'm gonna put a space. Mammals have, that's a word wall word, spell it with me.
H-A-V-E.
Mammals have fur. Fur. Okay, that's my first sentence. Let's read it together.
Mammals have fur.
Mammals are warm-blooded. That's going to be my second sentence. I'm going to start that with an uppercase letter, mammals. You know what? Instead of saying mammals again, I think I'm going to use the word they. Mammals have fur. They. Another word wall word. Spell that with me. T-H-E-Y. Remember they, just write the, then add y. That is they. They, space, are warm-blooded. And what do we always need to put at the end of a sentence?
Period.
Well, do we always put
Punctuation.
Okay, you're right. They are warm-blooded. Okay, and then let's do one more sentence. Let's go. I'm gonna. What good writers do the same thing as good readers. They always go back and they reread what they wrote to see if it makes sense. So I'm going to reread my work so far. Mammals have fur. They are warm-blooded. Mammals can. I'm just going to I'm going to say mammals can produce milk and eat meat. So I'm going to write that for a sentence. Mammals. Can is a word wall word, and it's on here. Can you spell that with me? Can.
C-A-N.
Mammals can produce milk and eat meat. Oh, what combination of letters do you see in meat?
Eat.
E-A, or you see that word chunk, eat. Good job. Okay, so all of this is all going on in the family's child. Okay, I'll reread the whole thing. Mammals have fur, they are warm-blooded, mammals can produce milk and eat meat. So I would model this just like I did to you. Then I would have us do one together, and then what they would get to do is they would, and these are some of the most popular books in the class. And I'll show you later some of the kids that have these, but you would maybe have some of these in your book boxes already, or they would be in tubs. And so kids would move from just mammals, but actually selecting a mammal of their choosing that they're really interested in. And they would do this independently or with a partner. And then we would come back together and share. So, you know what, what I'd like you to try is just on a blank piece of paper, unless you want this bright pink, I can give you this if you want to. I'll pass this out. But just think of an animal you like. Think of your grade level and what you would kind of want kids to say, maybe. It doesn't have to be at a first grade level, but so do you feel like you had enough scaffolding? Can you do this? I'll just give you a couple minutes. If you just want to think of an animal, you can write it in the topic box. What can that animal do? What does it have? What are...
I'm going to say,
what you could pretend is we've gone through the whole unit already. We do this process for each of the different kinds of animals. So you can choose whatever kind of animal you would like. So if you could imagine, we've introduced mammals the first week. We would just choose a mammal that week, then the next week reptiles. So they do that process. When we're finished, then it's just whichever you would like to do.
I do that some of my friends.
Okay, would anybody like to share what they have? They're still writing. Hey Brenda, what put snake? Oh, sorry.
It should be right over the blue, but the one's confusing is the one that's right here.
Oh, okay. Yeah. What about snakes can lay eggs, have scales, are cold-blooded? Okay, excellent. All right. Anybody else really have one they'd like to share? Sean?
16-year-old boys can eat an amazing amount of food, have extreme mood swings, and are preoccupied with bodily hair growth.
Very good.
I might need to super great.
Okay, so that is the tree map. That was an excellent answer. And one other thing I want to show you is we are trying each year to incorporate a little bit more of GLAD in this. So we've made some of those big books. We have one for mammals and we have one for reptiles so far. So after sharing these with the class, they're up on the wall. We may have done an activity where they get in groups of 4 and we'll do a reader's theater with this. So their group practices reading this page, and there's about, let's see, 6 pages. We break up that way, and then they perform it. They might do a noticing. So in their small group, looking at the different animals, what do you notice? And they have to talk and share. So that's that whole oral language piece that comes into play. Some of the kids, I'll read just this first one and I'll tell you what some of them say about this. The important thing about mammals is that they are living things. All mammals are warm-blooded, but the important thing about mammals is that they are alive. I'll actually read the next page, then you'll really get the idea. The important thing about mammals is that they are living things. All mammals have lungs and breathe air. But the important thing about mammals is
They are alive.
so every page is like that, and there are some kids that go, we get it, they're alive. They're living things. So, but we like the big book. So we'll have gone through, we have this scaffold to help them get their information from the text into this framework, be able to write about it, and then we have a writing journal book like this. So on one of their final writings about mammals, under the mammal section, they'll do their writing here. After we've gone through and done that for reptiles, we have the reptile section. So this was one of my examples that we did, like what I just did with you guys. It goes through all those classifications. And these are really nice, and I meant to save some for samples to bring you guys, but they ended up all going home. The only one I have is of a boy that moved, and this was a little boy that came in the middle of the year, and he was one of my lower students, and so I was really proud of what he came up with. A cheetah is a mammal. A cheetah is the fastest mammal. A cheetah has a backbone. A cheetah has fur. And for this, where he came in from, that was really great. So all that scaffolding really does pay off. Another thing during Daily 5 time that kids can choose to do are, we have research report writing papers. So they've got these great books in their book box, the nonfiction animal books, and some of them choose to go through and use this kind of a framework, which start, and then we'll go back to the, well, how are we doing on time? Okay. So one of the other things that I have kids do is, as we're studying the different animals, I have big posters of this, we'll have read about it, is the comprehension strategy we talk about. Good readers are doing compare and contrast. We're going to do that with our writing. We're going to compare and contrast how mammals and reptiles are alike and different. And I really love the box and T charts. Oh, so, well, you guys, you know the difference.
You want it? I got it.
Yeah, that's fine. So I was just showing you that they would have had a resource of looking at characteristics of mammals, characteristics of reptiles, and so then we do a box and T chart. We do it together, and then they can do those independently. And I've seen a lot of kids where they choose they want these, and they might be working on something else out of daily 5 time, and they'll come back for sharing time and say, oh, I did a great box and T chart on, they might go to characters in their book, or and then they inspire other kids to go out in the next round of daily 5 to do that. So that whole power of choice really works. Do you guys, I just feel like, okay, so we would have mammals, and then within this, they might switch to actually just choosing 2 different kinds of animals to do. So we would talk about, you know, okay, how are mammals and reptiles the same?
They're alike.
They're alive. Yay!
Challenge kid.
What else? Let's see. Anything else? How are they similar?
They reproduce.
Ooh, that's good.
Just start. What was that?
They reproduce.
Okay. They reproduce. They breathe. Is that what somebody said?
Mhm.
Breathe.
Eat.
Eat. Need water. Excrete.
Yeah.
Yes, they poop.
I said excrete.
I well, the challenge kid in my class. Need wonder. Excrete. And I don't, is this, I'll underline it, I'm not sure if I spelled it right, so if we don't know, underline and check it later. Okay, now how are they different? What are some ways that they're different? Mammals and
Have fur,
Okay, mammals have fur.
while reptiles have scales.
Very good. Okay, what else? How are they different? Live birth.
And most reptiles lay eggs.
Lay eggs. Anything else come to mind? Okay,
Oh, milk.
there you go.
Okay.
Mammals are warm-blooded.
Challenging one.
I'm sorry.
You need to leave the room.
I did think of one. I really did.
Okay. Now a lot of times what I'll have and I don't have it here with me, but have a template already made up. So mammals are like reptiles because they are alive. Mammals are different than reptiles because mammals are warm-blooded and reptiles are cold-blooded. So that would be the template you could use to set them up. And like I said, they really, they like doing box and T charts. And I found I like these better than diagrams.
Mhm.
I think it's just more straightforward, and a lot of times they know how to do, they know how to set these up, and like I said, choose to do it on their own. So let's go back to that. So really that is all of the, unless you guys, do you want to do your own box and T chart? It's just funny teaching teachers, first graders. Let's see what we have next. So this was our box and T chart, compare and contrast. Oh, we have a fun activity next. Okay. Did the tree map. This is an exciting PowerPoint, isn't it?
Oh, a riddle.
Okay. So then we've been doing all this this great stuff. Guess my animal. And so we're tying this back to the cafe menu. And for those of you that aren't familiar with cafe, it goes with the daily 5. And cafe is the actual focus lessons, the mini lessons. So I have a wall, and this is at our gathering spot. The acronym is CAFE is for comprehension, A is for accuracy, F is for fluency, and the E is for expanding vocabulary. And so the mini lessons during reading time always tie back to CAFE. Is it a comprehension strategy? Are we working on a strategy to help you blend sounds, look at beginning sounds, end sounds? Are you working on your fluency? How are you going to become fluent? You have to read a good fit book, you have to reread maybe 3 or 4 times, or are you learning new vocabulary words, expanding vocabulary? So we've been working a lot on inferring, and so this is a great activity that ties back to making an inference, because my kids have been learning that when you infer, you're taking clues from the text, and then you're making a guess based on what you already know and what the clues are telling you. And so in this activity, they've learned all these characteristics, all these things, and they're going to create riddles for a partner. And so for an example, I do this with them first. Okay, so okay, so we'll make a riddle, let's see. I'm a carnivore. I live in Africa. I have a mane. What am I? So turn and tell a neighbor what you think it is. And on the count of 3, tell me what you said. 1, 2, 3.
Lion.
Oh, you guessed my animal, okay?
I didn't know they. Oh, I can't see. What does it say?
Carnivore.
Oh, it's it off the board. I said,
Well, my writing's not good. Okay, so go ahead, take a minute, and with a partner, each take a turn to write a riddle about an animal. So your neighbor's going to infer based on the clues, the evidence that you give them. What animal are you talking about? There's a fun activity you can do with this where you put the label on kids' names, and so somebody reads the clues, and then they're trying to guess actually which animal. Yeah.
What is that?
Well,
There's an actual game with head.
Oh, the head thing. Oh, yeah, that's fun.
So, and we do that, but I didn't know that you guys would really want to get these.
That would be,
Putting headbands on. Does anybody have one that they'd like to share that was just a great riddle? A riddle they'd like to share? Laura, did you have an animal?
yes.
Okay, could you share yours?
Yes. I have feathers. I lay big eggs. I have long legs. I can't fly. Yep.
Okay, good job. Okay, so that's just an example of tying our reading strategies to being able to write some details down in a fun activity. Some of the culminating things we do, we'll do an art project, they choose an animal they want to do, and then they put their writing just with that animal. So I'm just going to show you a couple other things. And in our grade level, you know, like every grade level, there's so much, but this grade level, you're still just really teaching them how to the basic foundation. So we're trying to lay a really strong foundation for you guys when you get